And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the monastery, the open bar of the internet, the world's greatest shit show, and the place where we, the good brothers and sisters of this most holy of temples, seek enlightenment through the drunkest, craziest, and most batshit ways possible. I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra, and with me I have a couple of newcomers into the temple. Coming to us from the double-headed monster that is Maison Nebulous. In the red corner we have Gaël Sacré. I'm hoping I got that right. And in the blue corner we have Valentin Daniel, the two-headed monster designing PÈLERINES. How you doing today, both of you? I know it's about early evening where you guys are by my recollection.
It's actually early afternoon here, and yeah, we're doing fine. I mean, I'm fine, and thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for coming along and braving time zone hell in the process.
You are more brave than us.
I've been told that, but I suppose I'll start with the humble beginnings, in a sense.
Yes. Just before.
Oh, good.
I'm truly sorry. Just before, because it's a French way to say it. It's pèlerine. Okay. Yes, and it's very it's not the how to say it's not the slimpiest word for non-speaking French speakers.
I do hope you put a pronunciation guide in the released book.
Okay, I can do something like that. Okay, yeah. I know what you mean.
And I do apologize in advance because I'm probably going to fall on old habits. But one of the traditions with every newcomer that I have is the humble beginnings, the origin story, or villain origin story, depending on who I'm asking. So walk me through your first introduction to role-playing games and what made it stick. Whichever of you wishes to go first on that, obviously.
Okay, I start. So I started role-playing game quite late, actually. I was really into geek culture with video games and everything. I even created universes and maps when I was little, but it was really, I mean, I think it was when I was in college that I started TTRPG, but at first I was kind of disappointed because I really had really shitty experiences, very traditional kind of D&D, but not good D&D or Warhammer kind of style. And then I discovered indie TTRPG, and then it really stuck to me because I mean, I had this feeling there was more than just following the game master scenario. And with indie gaming I really realized that yes, there was more. We can really create amazing things with different themes than just dungeons and dragons and everything, and that we could play with poetry, with drama, with yes, a lot of things that I was waiting for, that I thought might really be interesting in TTRPG, but that weren't there at the beginning. So it was long before I really stick to it.
Which I can get that.
For me, it's different. I jump into TTRPG with how to say an audio saga. You know, something you listen with friends who tell a story. And uh, around my 13, and I stick to it in kind of way. I learned to play with Dungeons and Dragons, the 3.5. I don't know if I tell it right,
No, you got it
but
right.
okay. And with when I grew up, I put it on side, and I play less and more with how to say with friends online. It was a little bit different, and I'm I I started again some years ago with Morkborg. I found the book online. I paid to receive it during the COVID lockdown, and it's at that moment I think about to create a Maison Nébuleuse and doing something with a TTRPG.
Hmm. Yeah, I can get that, and there is a bit of that DNA that I can most certainly see within this. So with this particular project, was this something that you guys have been kicking around for a while, or was the origin point a bit more recent?
Started
Gaël
with
create.
yeah.
No, start. It's your turn.
Okay, so it started with one of my game, which is called Aori. Aori. I don't know how to say in English. Let's say in French, Aori.
Hmm.
And so it is a solo and two-player game that I created, I think, last year, and I was really happy with the game, and I started working on the layout and everything to publish it on my own.
Hmm.
And then Valentin came to me and said, "Just hey, how about I publish your game because I really like it. I think we could do some amazing thing with it." And I said, "No, I'm not interested," because I was really into, like, I want to create my own games, and I was in the process of creating it from everything from A to Z myself, and I didn't want anyone involved in this process. And then he came back again to me and he said, "How about creating a multiplayer game? So the the same universe, but we play three or more players." And I said, "Okay, we could do that." I didn't plan to do it, and I thought it would really be an interesting thing to work with somebody, and using the same universe to create something a little bit different. So that's how it started, with my own game, and then we pushed it a little bit into a new direction, and yes, that's what we did. What we did.
Hmm. So with that in mind, I'd like to kind of get a feel for some of the inspirations. Now there is that image that you guys put on the Kickstarter of the numerous inspirations, but it seems that the two big ones that are cited, since they're right at the top, are Journey and Dune.
Um, yes, it's there are big inspirations for us. Journey is really the video games that inspired Gaël during his process to create Aori. And we talk a lot about this game. I know I don't play Journey, but I watch Let's Play. Uh, I watch video of Journey, and it's a game that talks to me. And June, it's something more. It's not big inspiration. There are that inspiration that talks to many people. I don't know if I said it well, but we have other inspirations, but they are much more French or European, and we want to talk to everyone. And if I talk to you about La Horde du Contrevent, it's not something you heard about. It's translated with Gaël, it's
The
Windwalker.
The Windwalkers, yes.
Right, yeah,
The
yes.
Windwalkers.
Hmm.
And
It's not really, it's not really famous in the US, in English-speaking countries.
so we choose some inspirations that will talk to everyone, and it was the biggest and how to say the biggest and the most how um, um, there were the perfect inspirations to talk about where do you where do you find ideas to create these games.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Yes,
can.
on one side, there's the inspiration that we really had to create the game, and on the other side, there's what we are talking to people so that they could understand what the game is about. And so we chose those two big inspiration because we thought that people might know it,
Mhm.
basically.
Yeah, I can get that. Now, there are a few that are listed here that I find interesting, and I'd like to go over some of them and just kind of what inspired you within these works and how you're bringing that into this project. I suppose one of the big ones I'd want to cover is Foundation.
It's for you.
I know that there's the live action series currently going, but I haven't seen it. The only knowledge I have of Foundation is through the original books and through the audio drama.
Uh, Foundation is really some kind of basic science fiction that is really inspiring to Pèlerin because um, the heart of the game, there's this travel to this eclipse moon that is really intriguing. And when you start the game, it's more of a maybe um, you start with the desert. There's something really kind of fantasy-like if we want it. But then there's a metaphysics. There's something very philosophical about this game. The more you going through it, and the more you're going to you're going to ask philosophical questions. And Foundation is this kind of really old science fiction that is talking about destiny and time uh, and and it resonates with what you do as a pilgrim in the game, where you basically you are kind of destined to find this eclipse moon and what it means and what it is. And it could be anything actually, because this is an emerging universe. There's no scripted lore or anything, so every game the game master is going to create something different, and the moon could be an illusion, could be a it could be a spacecraft, it could be anything, it could be the god's realm, or and so every time pilgrims are reaching the moon, usually questions, philosophical questions, and so yeah, so Foundation really is about that, and also with the aesthetic, and I'm including the the live action show that really is amazing aesthetic, and decors and costumes and everything. And I think it's really great inspiration to imagine what we could find in Pèlerin. Although there's not usually there's no big city and big political intrigues and everything, but there's a lot of aesthetic that you can use from Foundation and themes in Pèlerin.
Mm-hmm. I can get that. And one of the other artistic names that stood out to me in this list is, of course, the seminal works of Mobius. And Mobius's work can cover a wide net. So, were there any specific works in particular that drew you in more than others for in the creation of this?
There is a lot of work of Moebius during his Metal Hurlant works. It's you know Metal Hurlant maybe.
Yes.
Yes, okay. And there is a lot of science fantasy artworks that he drew for the magazine, and there is a lot in all his works we can find and we can we use to inspire ourselves. And Moebius, it's for me, and I think it's a little bit like that for Gaël, but it's one of the famous people who grow up within movies, within comics, everything in our culture and in France. You can find some Moebius everywhere. It's very interesting. And when Gaël created Aori, the first thing we talked about was pictures of some artworks of Moebius. We exchanged together, and oh, okay, it's you like that in that artworks, okay, and I like that, and it's one artist who gave us really. Images, some words we rewrite. It's really more about everything in how to say like everything you do is a mood board for us. Every science fiction, science fantasy artworks is a mood board for us. It's something like that. I don't know if I tell it right.
Mm-hmm. But I can get that. Now, when it comes to with that in mind, when it comes to this journey that the game is built around, um, it's would you say that this is something of a travelogue type of campaign?
The game is more of a little campaign of 3 to 4 sessions. So the idea is that you have chapters that are more symbolic, that really scripted. Like you have the desert, the mountain, the abyss, and then the moon, and you can do whatever you want with those 4 chapters. It could be any desert, it could be any kind of mountain and everything, but usually one session is great to travel through one of the chapters. So usually 3 to 4 sessions is great. I don't think I think we could do a longer campaign if we really take the time maybe to explore each chapters in details, but I don't think we could do like a 1 year campaign with one week session. I don't think it would really work, but especially because the mechanics are thought with some kind of survival in mind. So at some point you will use a lot of words, because everything is centered around using words, and if you run out of words, you cannot do much in the game. So if you are doing a longer campaign, you have to really change, adapt the mechanics so that it works. But yeah, it's really thought for. You can do a really big session, maybe of 7 or 8 hours, where you really. I already did this in 5 or 6 hours, but it was really quick. You had to really rush into every chapters, and that's a shame, I think. But yeah, you can do a big run in 7 or 8 hours. But the best thing I think is to do one chapter at a time.
Hmm. And given that it sounds like the four parts could be considered an act structure. Would that be accurate?
Totally. Yes, it's accurate. Yes, we create this 4 chapter like it's the same chapters in AORI, but we create some tools to direct those chapters, and players are really invited to to explore and to face a challenge or multiple challenges is as the narrators choose, but really it's a step by step game, and to make another link with Foundation. During your journey, you're going to learn. You're going to learn about your planet. You're going to learn about the moon. You're going to learn about the characters. It's more. It's yes, it's act, but it's more one step. The first step it's to grow together, and the second step it's to learn how to keep moving together, and it's like that in all the game until the end. You are going to progress in the world, and with your character, you're going to add to your character during your game, and yes, you can do it in 5 or 6 hours, but really, the more time you took to play those chapters, the more time you took to you take to to face challenges. It's the more you're going to build with other characters.
Hmm. Yeah, I can get that. Now, the core mechanics of the game, you talk about the power of words and using words instead of using dice or using math. The closest analog I can think of a game that used words as a core mechanic was Not the End by Fumble GDR. Is it a case where your character sheet is going to be full of these different words that are descriptors, or is there a different approach that you guys have in mind with this take?
Um, I don't know about that game, but the idea was to really put the word at the center. It's not just descriptors. It's really how the game how the character is built, and how you are using the mechanics. So at the start of the game, when you create your character, you're creating hooks for your characters, which are basically some background elements and objects and powers, and you do that by associating 2 words together from a pool of words that you have in your character sheet.
Hmm.
And so every hook, this is the only thing that you have on your character sheet. Actually, you have your pool of words and your hooks, and you're going to use all of these for the entire game. So you have to use it wisely, because every time you use a word, then you cannot use it again. So if whether you're using it for creating a hook, or if you're creating it, or if you're helping another character, another player character in a challenge, then the word is you cannot use it again. So this is really a resource, and also a purveyor of meaning, because everything you create is not like, as you said, it's not numbers. It's really the word that are informing about the character and what you can do with your character.
Hmm. Yeah. Now, given that, there's always, when you're dealing with games that rely on words or tags or what have you, there is always a risk of the words becoming too freeform, and that creates a bit of a analysis paralysis. I've seen that problem with, say, Fate. With with Pèlerines, and I know I mispronounced. Sorry. Um, I'll get it right
Okay.
I'll get it right one of these days. But do you guys have a few pages of sample words or guidances to make it so that words aren't too broad?
Yes, we for every sheet you have character sheets and even chapter sheets. We choose words. We choose 60 words,
Hmm.
and it was in our mind, and it will be in our mind when we are going to do the translation with our translator. Um, the I don't know how to say it in English, but it's how do you say words have different means,
Hmm.
and we need to think about all the meaning when we choose a word, and we do it 60 times for every sheet we create, and uh, we are not afraid of all the meanings because you don't use the word you don't really use the word as it is. You when you use a word, it's for a purpose. You have a purpose, and to create hooks you need to use two words. So it's not the meaning of one word and the meaning of another word. It's how the two words can create something. So the different meanings help. It's something important. And uh, when you help someone else in the game, you can use one word, but it's not. You can play with it. You can play with his meanings, and it's important. We have played games where players don't use the first meaning of a word, but they use the word in how to say. It was important in the scene. It was important in the what they are doing, and it's more we choose word because we want to players to play with it. It's like numbers, but with meanings, and you don't have to calculate, but you have to think about how to use it, and how this use is going to make sense. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, I can get that. And going through the quick start, it looks like one of the key things that you guys have during resolution of obstacles is the drawing of light and dark tokens, uh, which which I'm guessing that the pouch of tokens, that's the main way that you're either going to succeed or you're going to succeed with a catch.
Yes, exactly. The idea is that we wanted to add some random resolution to it, even if we're not using and dice. And what we wanted was you're still using words with this mechanic, because every time you're using a word, you have more chance to not to not draw a dark token, and we didn't want it to have like you are succeeding or failing or at what you do. Actually, you always succeed as what you're trying to do, but the catch, as you said, is that when you are pulling a dark token, then one of your hook that you used is corrupted, meaning that something is something bad happened to you, but it's not like you failed at what you did. It's just like, yes, you maybe if it was your origin, because there's some hooks that are your origin or your power or something like this. And if it's your origin, it maybe because you thought about something of your home, and then you feeling a sadness, for example, and then something is broken somehow inside of you, and so you so you succeeded. But yeah, and if you are if you're using your corrupted hook once again in another challenge, and then you pull another dark token, then your hook is no longer available. You cannot use it again. It kind of disappear, and so it has this challenge that okay, you always succeed. Whatever you do, you want to jump over a mountain or over a cliff or whatever, you will do it, but there's always a possibility that you lose something of yourself.
Yeah. It's very much a case of yes or yes but.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I am glad that we're seeing more and more games that are re-examining the whole pass-fail state in role-playing games. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but more that people are examining whether or not that particular binary is the right call for that kind of game. Because as I understand it, this is a journey, and no matter what the party is trying to push forward in that journey. So there should always be that forward momentum.
If you lose too many hooks, you can give up the journey or die. This could happen, but you have some time before it happens. We can help. You can ask for help and everything, but yes, at some point it might be difficult, especially when it comes to the abyss. That is the third chapter, where usually after 2 chapters and a half, you maybe used a lot of words and you had a lot of corrupted hooks, and this could be difficult at this point, and you can lose actually. So just the I think we just change the like, we're not interested in failing at a certain point. Like you're trying to jump over a cliff. This is not really interesting if you fall. But it's more interesting if you're giving up your journey along the way, not because you failed at some I don't know, physical challenges, like really pragmatic, because it's a really philosophical game. It's a psychological game. When you fail because you think you are a failure somehow. So this is different than games where basically you fail because you fell, or you died because you tried to defeat a monster or something. This is not how it works. You can defeat monsters in this game. They could be creatures that you fight against, but in the end, what really matters is how do you feel when you defeat the monster. Maybe you defeat it. You yeah, you defeated the monster, but how you feel about that? And if you are, if you one of your hook is corrupted, then maybe you feel bad about it, and this is what is really interesting for us in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in the early process of the game, we choose to not include the failing possibility. We want, as you said, it's a journey. You need to succeed. So we create tools and mechanics that are an answer to that proposal, and we really need to to how to say we need to succeed. So the question was, okay, you succeed, but what happens if you succeed but something happens? Not something clearly bad, but if you have question on your actions, if you have question on what you are doing, if you have question if you're doing the right thing, it's more. Like Gaël said, it's more. It's more. It's not. You're not going to fail because you can climb a cliff. You're going to fail because there is at a point you are going to accumulate some not mistakes but some questions about yourself, about your mission, and it's more you are going to fail because there is too many things you can bury as a character, and you're going to fail because of that, but not because you're not capable of. It's really because you can't bury anymore.
Mm-hmm. Which certainly makes sense when it comes to doing long journeys. It's as much of a test on the will of the people who are doing it as much as it is, just being in those environments. Uh, and it does seem that you guys are doing a phase-based approach when it comes to the individual legs of that journey. At least that's the vibe I got from the quick start um, of doing the major parts and then doing a kind of um, downtime with the campfire aspect.
Mm. I think it's when we talk about it, I realize that with this idea of a pilgrimage, it's really about that. It's when you have a really religious pilgrimage, it's all about faith. The idea is not exactly the journey, the pragmatic journey that you're doing. What is interesting is what you are processing inside your head about your faith, and I think this is the same thing that we're trying to do with this game. So it's not just about religious, even though the game is. So Pèlerin is translation in English is pilgrims in feminine form, and but there's something about it, something that is. Not about the journey itself, not about the what you're going to encounter, and as Valentin said, it's not what you are able to do, but really about what you to experience your destiny, how you position yourself around this, and this is why at the end the moon is very important, and this is really the final question, because at that point you are really questioning about who you are and what you want for your people, because depending on what the moon is, you can have a really important choice, a dilemma to deal with, because maybe, I don't know, the gods decided that they wanted to have this god's realm for themselves, even though it hides the star that could light the planet. So maybe you will have to rebel against those gods, or maybe just choose that, okay, these are our gods, so we're going to let them have the light, and or maybe it's or maybe they have a good reason to be there, and that if you want to have the light back, maybe you have to destroy this place. So it means that you have basically to to decide if your planet is more important than this place. So depending on what happens, you will have to answer philosophical question, even political questions somehow, and that's really the idea. When you start, you're just in the desert and you're just trying to reach the mountain, and it's really more about yourself and how you can survive. But then the more you're going through the journey, and the more you are questioning about yourself and the world, and how you choose to be in this world.
Mm-hmm. Now, given that, and since this is going to be something that has a wide amount of theme, I wouldn't be asking for a whole lore section or something like that, but do you plan on putting a section within the book that kind of gives a bit of a gazetteer to help a GM kind of get an idea of how things should go, since this is going to be an unorthodox approach to role playing?
Gaël is how to say it? Gaël do a lot of playtest. And he's and he have found, how to say, he's doing a lot of playtest, and when he do playtest, he gathered some information and some ID, so to create an how to run this game. And we have many section with many questions we need to answer, but we already have some answers, but where we help narrators to create the world, and create elements of surprise, of how to guide players, and how to create a plot or something like that. But for the lore itself, we put some how to say, we put some what to say in English. There is it's hidden.
Atmosphere.
How do you say it?
Atmosphere text, or
Yes, but it's hidden. It's
Mood.
hidden in text, and there is where mood text. There is some words, some name, some time, and I can tell it right now because it's okay. But I'm working with Manlef, one of illustrator, and I'm working right now with some huge illustration where you can see more about the world. It's going to be more symbolic, but you can with this illustration, with artworks, you can really find more about the world. So it's not going to be like a full section with a lore, but it's going to be everywhere in the book.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's for me. It was more about making sure that there's some degree of guidance. You can chalk it up to a history of certain games throwing you into the deep end of the pool and saying, "Swim, damn it."
The thing is, I'm really a bad game master. I mean, like a classic game master. I don't know how to do with a scenario, or with a scripted, or even a lore that is really pre-existing. So I always kind of improvised what I do. But for that, I cannot just improvise from nothing. I'm not even a good improviser. Maybe I'm getting better now, but so when I create a game, I'm really procedural. Means that I really like to have a lot of tools and a lot of okay, you do this, then you do that, then you do this, and it really helps me to improvise, because I know where I'm going, and I'm not just so I know that we already created some tools, and we're going to add some more when we're going to finish the game. We already have events, so basically when you are when you start playing the game, like for example, we start the desert. The first thing you do before even describing anything, you're going to ask players some questions like what did you hear about the desert, and what do you expect to see in the desert? And so the first thing, and this is one of the things that I learned because I was kind of bad at improvising, is just using what players are creating themselves. You just ask them, okay, what do you expect to see, and then you make notes, and then you're not just using exactly what they said, but you're going to get inspired by what they said, and you're going to create your world. So that's the first thing. Always using other, the great thing about role-playing game when you're playing with friends or with other people when you're not solo, is that you can use this.
Expectations, maybe.
Yeah, expectation, but also the brains. We all have connected brains at this time, and usually when you're in more traditional form, the game master has to deal with everything, and it is really really time consuming and mind consuming. I don't know how to say that, but so I like the idea that you are using the collective consciousness and imagination of everyone, so that then not only you can create more easily because you don't have to create everything by yourself, but also because you are, as Valentin said, you are playing with expectations. So the other players, they say, "Oh, I would love to see that in this chapter," or "I would love that my character could do that," and then you can use this and play with expectations. Sometimes you're going to say, "No, you're not going to do that unless you do this," or okay, maybe this is going to be this, but with a twist. So you can always play with that and start with something instead of having to create from zero. And the other thing is that we are creating tools. We're creating because as we said, I'm playtesting a lot of the games, so I created some kind of routines that I know work. So to improvise. So we're going to put this in the game. So for example, we have events. Events is when you ask questions to the players, and then you're going to choose amongst a list of different events that is going to give you the stakes, I think, of the chapter. So if it's a creature, for example, maybe the creature, it would be about what this creature is and why is this disrupting the inhabitants that are there. Or if you have a phenomenon, it could be a phenomenon like I don't know, a storm. So you have to understand why the storm is here and figure out how to get through it, or maybe make it disappear, or I don't know. And so each event helps you improvise, so you're not totally in the dark of what to create. And the idea is to have stakes, so then you can describe to the players not only interesting things, but also interesting things to do and to explore and to understand.
Mm-hmm. Now, with that said, I know in the quick start there were 3 different roles that were presented. How many roles do you see the full book having?
There are going to be 6 roles, and maybe I'm going to publish them in a couple of weeks. And if there is stretch goals when we add roles, because we have ideas of roles, but the full books will have 6, because with 6 you can do many things. We have seen it's not when you play a role, you are not you're not going to play as another player played before you. Every player, how to say, it's every player have a different approach, or they change everything. They change everything when they create a role. A role is typically 60 words, so you have 60 words and questions to answer, and a little description, and even if we choose the 60 words, the way that the players will going to play with these words, it's different every time. So you're going to have as many rows as many players there is, and even with that, we have seen that the same rows have some direction because the description add something to the role, and there is a lot of different characters that we play with, and but they all play in the same way. I don't know if I say it correctly, but roles are like an archetype of someone of a traveler, and you can play with this archetype and the words that the word of this archetype, but there are many things to play it, and we are surprised as authors of this game. We are surprised at how many different characters we encounter during our test, and we are surprised at how many are different, but how they are going in the same direction, in the same way at every games, and it's really a surprise for us, and a very good surprise. And maybe one day we're going to add roles to play with. It's not because I have ideas, Gaël have ideas, and we are not close to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can certainly get that. Now, as far as a total page count, what are you guys shooting for?
For now, we are on 160, and it's going to be full. If we, I think there is going to be something like that, 160. Maybe a little more, but not less. I think we have too many tools, too many things to write and to put on to do less. It's when we do the first Kickstarter, I tried to put everything in 110 pages, and when I tried some layouts, and I was thinking about, oh, it's going to be difficult. But now I have 160. I know I'm going to full. The book is going to be full of artworks, of words, of sheets, of everything to play. It's going to be there's going to be some visual experiments, not as a Morgborg do with all his things, but there is some hidden things in the dark, in the black pages, and it's going to be a full book, full of mysteries and full of discoveries.
Yeah, I can certainly get that, and I will look forward to seeing how it develops. And just as well, a congrats on how well this current Kickstarter is going, because you guys are asking for about 3,000 euros, and at the time we're doing this, it's at just over 5,000.
Yes.
Yes, and we are clearly happy about that, and we really seek to reach the next stretch goals, because he had 2 roles, and I already have ideas for those 2 roles that I wrote, and if we can reach more and more, we can do not a better book, because the game is already written, and it's not going to change the game, but it's going to change the pleasure to read the book itself, with good papers, from better papers, some different ink, maybe abiding. There is a binding to at 15,000. Yes, 15,000 euros. There is another binding to open the book differently. The more we get, the more we do a better book.
Yeah, I can get that. With that said, I do want to sincerely thank both of you for taking the time out of your schedule to come all the way to my temple and enjoy the particular brand of madness that happens around here.
This was a pleasure. Thank you for inviting us.
Yes, for us it's the first time, and it's. I know now what my difficulty is to speak English, and I know how I can work now
Well,
to.
Well,
No.
you know how
Okay.
you know how to get into Carnegie Hall, right? Practice.
Okay. Practice that. Yes, I don't practice enough because I read and I write, but I don't talk that much. I don't have enough. There is in France. It's not it's not common to speak English with other people. There's a really French way of living where you speak French, and where there is a tourist, Friends don't speak English; they speak French. It's awful, and it's some kind of a part of the charm of the country. But when you are like us when you need to speak English for work, it's more difficult. But you can find some people you can find some time for, and I'm really happy you find us, you send us a message, and really it's really great. It was a great time. It is a great time for me, and I'm really happy to try it and to try it. I love to try it another time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and anytime you see fit to return, the door is always open. As I often say around here, drinking is not mandatory, but it is encouraged.
Okay.
And, of course, a sincere thanks goes out to everyone who took the time out of their schedule to come onto the show and enjoy the madness. And there'll be plenty more where that came from, as there always is here, on the open bar of the internet. But until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody.